Once again, I would like to request all participants to fill up the front rows as we are about to begin very shortly. Thank you very much for your attention. Once again, I would like to request all audience to fill up the front row seat, and I urge everyone to minimize the movement in the hall and also to set your mobile phone to silent as we get nearer into the session. Thank you. Announcing the arrival of Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Kelantan, accompanied by the committee members of Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology 2022. National Anthem Negaraku and Terbilang UMK. Please be seated. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Razli bin Cik Razak, Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Kelantan. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dr. Abdul Halim bin Syari, President of Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology. Yang berusaha Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Azwadi bin Sulaiman, Dean of Faculty of Bioengineering and Technology. Yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Roslan bin Abdul Syukur, Vice President of Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology. Yang berusaha Chemist Technologist Dr. Nur Hakimin bin Abdullah, Chairman of the Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology RCSSST2022. Professor Dr. Sang Wook Han from John Book National University, the keynote speaker for RCSSST2022. Invited speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the committee, I would like to welcome you to the Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology 2022, organized by Faculty of Bioengineering and Technology, UMK, in collaboration with the Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology Society, MES. With the theme of Emerging Solid State Science and Technology for Global Sustainability, this conference gathers field experts aiming to provide a platform for scientific discourse on solid-state science and technology in all aspects, including physical, chemical properties, preparation and characterization techniques, optical properties, its macro, micro, and nanostructures. Most importantly, this conference also aims to highlight 4 important sustainable development goals of poverty eradication, zero hunger, affordable and clean energy, and responsible consumption and production. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll begin this ceremony with dua recitation by technologist Dr. Sarizam bin Mamad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. We express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend the launching ceremony of 31st Regional Conference and Solid State Science and Technology 2022 on this auspicious morning. Ya Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and ended with the forgiveness. And also make the days that we have gone through with guidance and end with the victory of excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaymin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our efforts as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety, or either outer or inner, is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenges of life during the transition period and in the face of life in this new millennium. Ya Allah, Ya Faraj al-Hamiyya wa Ya Kashif al-Ghami. Ya Allah, show us guidance and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us to listen to people who like the good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. O Allah, bless us our life in this meeting and gathering, and prevents us from harm and unfortunate events. Allahumma inna a'udhu bika minal barasi wal junun wal judham wa min sayyi'il asqam. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار والحمد لله رب العالمين. تقبل.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to invite Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Abdul Halim bin Syari, President of the Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology, MES, for the welcoming remarks. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Good morning to everyone. I'm sorry, my voice is a bit harsh. First, I would like to thank everyone here for coming to this conference. I think I should start off with the Honorable Professor Dr. Han Sang-wook from Jeonbuk National University, Jeonju, yeah, South Korea, who is our keynote speaker for this 31st Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology 2022. Yeah. This is a regional conference. We also have an international conference every 4 years. So if we add up the international conference and the regional conference, we have been having a collaboration with various universities to organize the conference for almost 40 years already. Yeah. So, yang berbahagia, Prof. Dr. Razli bin Razak, Vice Chancellor, UMK. Yeah. Thank you for agreeing UMK to collaborate with, or for MAS to collaborate with UMK. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yang berbahagia, Dr. Nick Maheran, binti Nick Muhammad, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and International. Yang berbahagia, Prof. Chronologist, Dr. Arham Abdullah, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Research and Innovation. Yang berusaha, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Azwadi bin Sulaiman, the Dean Faculty of Bioengineering and Technology. Yang berbahagia, Dato' Dr. Roslan, yeah, Deputy Vice President, MAS. And lastly, Dr. Chemist, Technologist, Dr. Noor Hakimi bin Abdullah, Chairman of this RCSSST 2020. And then I invite all the invited speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. So I think I would take this opportunity to, on behalf of the Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology Society, which is short form MASS, yeah? I think it's relevant to physics, maths, MASS. I would like to welcome, give a warm welcome, yeah, to all the participants of this 31st Regional Conference on Science, Solid State Science and Technology, yeah, 2022. Of course, due to, maybe due to the COVID-19, yeah? Due to the pandemic that we have faced for 2 years. Yeah? So this conference will be held in a hybrid mode. Yeah? In hybrid mode. Yeah? And of course, we can see that all of us are still wearing masks and so on. Yeah? So we are in the mode, on the regime, in the COVID-19 regime. Yeah? maybe towards the end already. So, nevertheless, we will go on with this conference not in the normal way, but in the new ways, new norm. So I also would like to say thank you to the, or we should give a round of applause to the sponsors. So without sponsors, helping this society or this occasion to move on. So it's especially to Broker Malaysia. I think everybody knows what Broker Malaysia is famous for, the X-rays and so on. And Novatic Scientific Sdn Bhd, who have contributed to this occasion. So it's a pleasure also to have all of you here. So I also would like to thank all the participants across the country, and also some from our neighboring countries, to joining this conference today to deliberate on the work that they have done on solid state science and technology. And the opportunity today is the opportunity for all of us to have sharing sessions, to have debates, discussions on the emerging solid state science and technology. Of course, now we are talking about global sustainability, greens, and so on. From all the participants who have done some research relevant to what is relevant to the global needs at the moment. And also, I think it's, in Malaysia, is also in line with the science and technology and innovation aspiration of the country. So we have science policies, science, technology, innovation policies, and so on. So maybe we are coming up with the new policies, because STI, I think, it ends in 2020. So after that, we are going to have another round of sharing prosperity vision up to 2030. So, so I wish all of you, to have a pleasant stay in this new city. I said new city, it's Kota Bharu. It's new city. I mean, a direct translation for the next 2 days. I think, okay, I must not forget to say thank you to the hosts, for the organizing committee for giving such a good platform today, all of us to raise the issues of STNI, and of course to have some solution of these burning issues of maybe like our last 2 years' experience on COVID-19. Maybe we can come up with some sensors for the detection of COVID-19 and so on. So I sincerely hope that you all will enjoy the next days, 2 days, to present your research findings, and of course, not to forget to have a good networking. Perhaps we'll be questioning a lot. We'll be posting a lot of questions to our Korean delegates. Professor Han, thank you for coming. So I think the the hope of the society to provide. Our society is an NGO, and that's NGO society. So we are helping all the members of the scientific community, coming from different disciplines of physics, chemistry, mathematics, all the engineering, the electrical engineering, electronics engineers, electrical engineers, and also the material science. Of course, without material, there'll be no advancements in technology. So I hope we can take this opportunity to have a good networking in future. So with that, I must say thank you to UNIMAS for agreeing to, sorry, UMK. I don't know. UMK, thank you, UMK, for this. So thank you very much. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Yang Berbahagia, Prof. Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to welcome Yang Berbahagia, Professor Dr. Razli bin Syed Razak, Vice Chancellor of University Malaysia Kelantan, for the speech. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And very good morning to all of you. Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Abdul Halim Syari, President of MAS University Putra Malaysia. Yang Berusaha Associate Profesor Dr. Muhammad Azwadi bin Sulaiman, Dean Faculty of Bioengineering and Technology, UMK. Yang Berbahagia Profesor Dr. Roslan Abdul Syukur, Vice President of MAS University Kebangsaan Malaysia. Yang Berusaha Kemis Technologies Dr. Nur Hakimin bin Abdullah, Chairman of RCSSST2022, Professor Dr. Han Sang-wook, Jeonbuk National University, Jeonju, South Korea, as a keynote speaker for RCSSST2022. Invited speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the participants of the 31st Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology 2022, which is held in Kota Bharu in hybrid mode for this year. I would like to congratulate the Faculty of Bioengineering and Technology of University Malaysia Kelantan in cooperation with the Malaysian Solid States Science and Technology Society for successfully conducting the significant event for this year. I would also like to convey our heartfelt gratitude to our main sponsor today, Braka Malaysia Sdn Bhd and Novatic Scientific Sdn Bhd and Agilent Technology for their willingness to sponsor and support our conference today. RCSSST 2022 is organized to highlight the faculty's vision and mission to prioritize technology innovation within entrepreneurial implementation framework. Since UMK is our main trust, is keusahawanan adalah trust kami, entrepreneur is our trust, entrepreneurship is our trust. It also serves as a medium of exposure for young and senior researchers in universities to establish the collaborations with the industrialists and researchers from both institutions and industries. Therefore, the purpose fits well with the conference theme, Emerging Solid State Science and Technology for Global Sustainability. Even though this event is held in hybrid mode, I am sure we can still effectively contribute by throwing questions, giving opinions, and exchanging our expertise with one another. Therefore, I would like to take this opportunity to also congratulate to all 207 local and international participants this year. This year we have, the number is so impressive compared with our conference from other faculties. I'm coming from business school, and the total of 207 is quite impressive and contribute to Dr. Azwaidi and the team. This year we have participations from institutions in Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Philippines, Finland, Nigeria, South Korea, as well as Malaysia. Your active participation will ensure the success of this conference. Last but not least, I hope that everyone will be sharing and obtaining value, insights, and knowledge from other professionals throughout this event. I also hope that everyone will have an exciting and memorable time during RCSSST 2022. On that note, it gives me a great pleasure to officiate the opening of the 31st Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology 2022. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thank you.
Thank you, Prof. I would like to request Yang Berbahagia Prof. Razli to join us for the opening gimmick. And I would also like to invite the Dean of Faculty of Bioengineering Technology, UMK, President and Vice President of MAS, and the Chairman of RCSSST to join Prof. Razli for the opening gimmick as well.
Assalamualaikum.
大家好, Vanakkam.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Kumusta? Hello, welcome to RCSST 2022.
The Regional Conference on Solid State Science and Technology, RCSSST 2022, is jointly organized by the Faculty of Bioengineering and Technology, University Malaysia Kelantan as the host, in cooperation with the Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology Society. This is a very successful and impactful hybrid conference.
This conference is unique, but it is held in a hybrid mode. Physical event at Hotel Perdana Kota Bharu and online media. We have 216 of participants from Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Philippines, Finland, Nigeria, South Korea, as well as Malaysia.
I would now like to invite chemist technologist Dr. Nur Hakimian bin Abdullah, Chairman of RCSSST 2022, to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Razli bin Cik Raza. And now I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Professor Dr. Abdul Halim bin Sha'ari, MAS President, to present a token of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Prof. Vice Chancellor. The token is in the form of plaque. Thank you very much, Yang Berbahagia Prof. Vice Chancellor. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of our session this morning. Once again, on behalf of the RCSSST2022 committee, I would like to extend my utmost appreciation to our guests of honor for your presence today. Before we depart ways, a number of announcements. First, please be informed that the list of RCSSST2022 award recipients will be announced on the 8th during the closing ceremony. Second, the keynote session will start as soon as this opening ceremony ends. I'd like to request the audience to stay put for the session thereafter. Last but not least, I would also like to request all VIPs to adjourn to VIP holding room for a press conference right afterward. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, I end the session with wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'd like to request all VIPs to join the audience for a quick photo session, as well as the audience, if you could come closer to the stage for photo session as well. Thank you. May I request all participants to come forward closer to the stage for the quick photo session. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the keynote session. Please be seated. Assalamualaikum, salam sejahtera and good morning. Welcome once again to all delegates of the 31st Regional Conference on Solid State Science Technology 2022. Before we start, I would like to invite Professor Dato Dr. Roslan Abdul Shukur together with Professor Sang Wook Han to take place on stage. Please welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our keynote speaker for today, it is my pleasure to once again invite Professor Dato Dr. Roslan Abdul Shukur, Vice President of the Malaysian Solid State Science and Technology Society from the University Kebangsaan Malaysia, to moderate this session. Please welcome.
Terima kasih Puan Pengerusi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Our first keynote speaker today is Professor Han Sang-wook from Jeonbuk University. Before he give his talk today, I'm going to give you some brief introduction to Prof. Han. Okay. So first of all, Prof. Han, welcome to Malaysia and welcome to the state of Kelantan. It's an exotic state for me. I seldom come here. I'm also a tourist here today, so. Right. Prof. Han is a professor at the Department of Physics Education in Jeonbuk National University in Korea. He's currently the chair of the Korean XF Society and vice chair for the Korean Proton Acceleration Users Association and a board member of the Korean Synchrotron Radiation User Association. Prof. Han also served as the director of Institute for Fusion Science, Jeonbuk National University, 2012 to 2019. He's also a guest editor for International Journal of Nanoscience and Nanotechnology in 2006. Prof. Han's major research field is focused on microstructural properties of various nanomaterials, including semiconductors, magnetic materials, superconductors, metal insulator transition materials, spintronics, catalysts, sensors, and others using XF and diffraction techniques. Within that, he also has intensive experiments on crystal growth with MOCVD and sputtering deposition. And Prof. Han has published over 100 research publications on condensed matter physics, nanoscience, and nanotechnology. With his expertise, he has given over 30 invited lectures. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very honored to have Professor Han with us today. Now please join me to welcome our keynote speaker, Professor Sang-wook Han, to present his speech entitled, A Local Structural and Chemical Probe, XF and its Application. So please welcome Professor Han.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. It's very nice to meet you. And this is the first time for me to come to Malaysia and also here too. So I'm very happy to meet everybody here. And I really enjoy the time here. Last Saturday, I come to here, and then I spent here 3 or 4 days, and I really enjoy time here. It's just like my home country. So I really appreciate the people who helped me here too. And hopefully you enjoyed my talk too. Okay, let me see. This should be really point, right? It's always go to one direction. It didn't work. Laser point. No. It is not laser point, right? Okay. Anyway, that's okay. So I'm going to talk about the local structure and also laser point. Do you have any? This is not laser point, so this one doesn't work. Oh, it works, but it's not reflected from the surface. Okay. Looks like the surface does not reflect it. Okay. So today I'm going to talking about the local structure and also chemical property of the material, which can be studied by using the SAPS. Here, XAFS is the brief name of the SAPS. So here, I show you that these are two figures, and the left side figure, that is what we call the SAPS, And this is the X-ray absorption from a material. This is a platinum foil, and the other one is a PT foil, and the other one is a PT nanoparticles. We measure this absorption of the PT foil as a function of the incident energy. This x-axis is the X-ray energy. That's the 11.550 electron volt to the 11,650 electron volts. So if we measure that absorption H, then we can get that kind of structure. So that makes something interesting features. From this sign, we can get the information of the chemical property as well as the local structure property. Here, the right side, this figure shows that the local structure property around the probing atoms. That's what I want to talk to you today. So, probably, first of all, I'm going to briefly introduce what is a synchrotron, because most of SAPS measurement can be done at the synchrotron source. So I'm going to show you what is a synchrotron first, and then I'm going to introduce that SAPS technique, and I can show you some application of the SAPS. And also, I have done some measurement of that zinc oxide nanostructure crystallization processes by using the SAPS, and also I have studied that dispersion and the stability of the PT nanoparticle too. So that's I'm going to show you today. Okay, here is a synchrotron. Maybe here some students or some professors know that synchrotron already, but I'm going to briefly explain what is synchrotron source. Synchrotron is the facility which can generate a very bright X-ray source. So synchrotron source X-ray usually is a very high flux, high current, high polarized, and it's a white beam. White beam means it's the X-ray generated the X-ray from the synchrotron source is a very low energy, like UV, to the very high energy, like 150 kilo electron volt. Some that range X-ray can be generated by the synchrotron source. Here, right side that show that just schematic of the synchrotron source, synchrotron inside the shapes. And initially, that we starting from the electron, and that electron is accelerated through this accelerator, and the electron can have a certain speed. Then we put in the boost ring, and we make the more. We make the electron has the more speed, so that electron speed can go to the near the light speed. Then we put in the storage ring. In the storage ring, that the electron is passed through the storage ring, and then it generated X-ray. So how it storage ring in the storage ring, the X-ray is generated. The figure is shown in the middle of that part. In the storage ring, we put in the magnet there, permanent magnet. One is the S pole, and the other one is the S pole, and the charged particle, which is the electron, pass through to that magnetic field. Then the electron will feel the Lorentz force. So that because of that, the electron will be bent. So it will go to my direction. Then at that time, the electron will emit the X-ray to the horizontal side. So that's how to synchrotron X-ray, synchrotron generate the X-ray method. But recently, we made that new facility that is the undulate. It's called the insertion device. So we put in a lot of the permanent magnet that's showed in the bottom of the right side. And that one is the NSS and SNN and SNS or something like that. And then the electron is passed through that device. Then what happened is the electron is sometimes go up and sometimes down, and some up and down, and up and down. It's like the wiggling the behavior. So meanwhile, every time it's going up, at that time it's emitting the X-ray, and it's going down and it's emitting the X-ray again. So once the electron passes through that device, then it generates a very strong X-ray. So that's recently we developed it, and then many people using many synchrotron source device, the insertion device now. So previously we were using this bending magnet, but now we're using the undulate X-ray undulated X-ray, undulated. So it makes the much more stronger X-ray source we can get from the synchrotron facility. So right side shows that one is the electron accelerator. Inside this storage ring. Basically, inside storage ring, the electron is some portion each pass through the straight line, and when it meets the magnet, then it's bent, and then it should go to straight line again and bent again, or something like that. Every time it's bent, at that time it emits the X-ray. So how many the insertion device or the bent magnet there, they make how many X-rays come out. That means something like that. So once we make that the synchronous source, then we can get a lot of the experimental hertzes. Like sometimes we can make that like 60 hertzes, or sometimes we make 20 hertzes, something like that. One synchronous source can generate many different side of the different site X-rays generated. So that's the idea. And there are many synchronous sources in the world. Here, Thailand has also one source there. In Asia, Japan has several sources there. Korea, we have the one source, and China has 3 or 4 sources, something like that. Australia has one source, Brazil has one source, and United States has several sources there. In Canada, also Saskatoon, they have one source too. European country has several sources over there. Also, Jordan has one source over there, and Russia has 2 or 3 sources, good sources there. On the bottom, the picture shows that that is the best X-ray source in the world. Left side, that is the Grenoble in France, and the middle part, that is in Japan, and the right side, that is the APS in Chicago. That's the best source in the world. So what means best source, they mean is that they are very strong. So it shows that the first one that's what we call the SERF, located in Grenoble in France, and that storage ring energy is 6 JeV, 6 giga electron volt. So that means that each electron has the energy of 6 giga electron volt. And the middle one, that's the APS located in Chicago, USA. That storage ring energy is 7 JeV. So each electron has a 7 JeV electron volt meaning. And the left side, that ESRF, that source can generate energy from 2 to 150 kiloelectron volt. Middle, that's another X-ray source, X-ray energy, 2 to the 150 kiloelectron volt. Right one, that is in Japan, that is a 8 JeV 8 JeV energy. So that's a very strong source in the world. And the energy is 0.3 to the 300 kiloelectron volt. But now we know that the energy is too much. It's too much wasted energy. So we don't want to make that strong X-ray source anymore. So recently we made a little bit like a low energy X-ray source. One of them is Diamond, which is in England. That is a 3 JeV. So recently we developed a new source that is a new synchrotron is that's mostly 3 or 4 JeV only. Middle one is bottom middle one is that's in Korea. We have another source there, and that's the 3 JeV. SLRI, that is located in Thailand, the Synchrotron Light Research Institute. That's they built it in 2004. That is 1.2 JeV. That's a little bit weak than the others. That's just an example of the source in the world. So the size of that ring is here, Grenoble is about 840 meters circumference, and the middle, that APS is 1.1 kilometers, and the Japanese jet one is 1.4 kilometers, something like that. So that's a pretty big one, but bottom one is a really small one. Synchrotron, the experimental hole is commonly like this. So here, right side, that one is one source, the hole, and bottom one is another hole, looks like that. And the middle one is the goniometer, which can measure that X-ray diffractions. So this is a typical experimental hole in the synchrotron source. So if you go to any synchrotron source, then you can see this kind of facility over there. And these pictures, I get the photo from each person. I took by myself. This I took picture in the APS long time ago, 20 years ago. The right side, the bottom, that's me. About 20 years ago, I was a postdoc over there. At that time, somebody took the picture with me. And she came from England. The other guy, they from China. They from Canada. So what I want to talk to you is even lady or Asian or European people, it doesn't matter. Anybody can use the synchrotron source, and it's a very safe lady and the man doesn't matter. And also, most of the cases, we put in the sample, we go inside the hutch, that's inside the first one, and that one is inside the hutch. We go inside the hutch, and we put in sample, and then we mounted it, and then we come out, and from the outside, the left bottom that show that we come outside, and we control everything using the computer. So the left side here. This is the door. So inside the hutch. So we close the door. We close the door. That door is made with Fe iron, and also it's including the PB lead. So it's perfectly block the radiation. So nothing radiation come out through the wall. So the outside is very safe. So we do the experiment over there, and then we can do many different experiments with using the X-ray source. So that's some example of that. And this is a research field which we can done with synchrotron X-ray. The crystallography is a well-known technique which can be done with synchrotron X-ray source, and the middle one is a chemical property measurement. The x-axis is the incident X-ray energy, and the y-axis is the absorption coefficient. And the right side, top right side, that is a magnetic structure which can be measured by using the synchrotron source. That good thing is if you measure that the magnetization, like using the SQUID or any macroscopic tool to measure the magnetization, then you can find out the total magnetizations. However, you don't know what the atom has, how much amount of magnetized, or which atom is magnetized, or that we are not sure about it. But if you're using the synchrotron source, then you can figure out each element, how much it is magnetized, or something like that, or the direction of magnetization too. So that's very good things. And another one, we can measure the permeable surface. That's very important in the physics and also semiconductors. In the middle or bottom, that image also we can measure. That the left side, that is each the bone. And the middle part, the green color, that's I measured by myself from that's the primordial cell of the rat. And the right side, that's lithography also can be done by using the synchrotron source. This is just some examples. You can do many different things with the synchrotron source. Oh, thank you very much. So you can do many things with the synchrotron source. Now people move to the new synchrotron source. Just before I show you that is the old synchrotron source. Not just really old, but it's developed from the 1970. And for the last 50 or 60 years, we have used the synchrotron source. And then now we want to move to the new research field. So that's we need the new synchrotron source. This is the new synchrotron source. What I want to introduce that is this is what we call the X-ray free electron laser, XFEL. So you know that the laser is a very coherent beam. So we make that X-ray has a very coherent. So how they make that is we make that here. Undulate, just before I show you that undulate. It makes the long distance of the undulate, like the 2 kilometers or 1 kilometer length of the undulator. And the laser pass through that the long distance, then it generates the X-ray every single pole. It make that it generates X-ray, and then that X-ray is the coherent, finally become coherent, and then it's very like the laser. So we call this the X-ray free electron laser. It's just like a laser. So that kind of the X-ray laser we can do with many different research world. Once the X-ray become the very coherent, then you can get the very bright image. If it's not coherent, then like this, huge. But if you're coherent, it's very bright. So from the right side, you can see that the top part is incoherent beam get the image, but the bottom part is a coherent beam image. So you can see that if we had the coherent beam, then that image become much clearer. So that's the idea. And we can do with many different research field, many different nature can study with this coherent X-ray. So first time, the 2005, that's almost like 18 years ago. RCSS in Stanford University, they first built this coherent beam in the hole. I think that long time ago, they have that straight line already. They use that line. From here to that's about 2 miles. They mean about 30.2 kilometers. And they use that one for the high energy, elementary high energy physics. They have used it long time ago. Later on, that the European people make the sun, so they cannot compete with them at all. So they stopped the operating. And then 2005, they changed the direction to make the X-ray laser using this facility. So, and then they successfully made that X-ray laser, and they started many different things. The length is about 2 kilometers, yeah. Originally, it was 3.2 kilometers, but they used only 2 kilometers. 2 kilometers put in this kind of the insertion device. This width is about just this width, and that makes 2 kilometers. And then that generates a very, very coherent X-ray. Then they researched many different fields. They made 2005, and then they published a paper about the photovoltaic response in the PRL 2012. That was 7 years later. And another paper, Nature, they published the atomic inner shell pumped by the XPL2 from this result. And then they upgraded 2010. That's almost like 12 years ago. And then they got a new result recently. And then first the Stanford University made the XPL, and later on the other countries also made the XPL2. In Japan, they made the XPL. That length is about 1 kilometer, just beside the Spring 8. And in Korea, 2016, about 6 years ago, also we made that the X-ray XPL in Korea. That's also at 900 meters. And then 2019, that's 18, that's about 4 years ago. In Daisy, in Germany, Daisy, they make that this XPL2. That's I heard that it's longer than 2 kilometers. If you see that right side plot, you can see that how much difference of the brightness. You can see that the Spring 8 is the top level of the synchrotron. That is about 10 to 21 or 22, something like that. But XPL, you can see that is 10 to 33. It's a lot of difference. So XPL makes much stronger and much brightest beam you can get. And also this is a very coherent. And also you should know that it's the synchrotron source, that the X-ray is a pulse source. It's not continuous source. It's a pulse source. So, and the XPL is even shorter than that synchrotron source. Usually the time scale of the synchrotron source, the pulse is about 50 to 60 picosecond. But that XPL is a sub-picosecond, like the 0.5 picosecond or 0.1 picosecond, something like that. It's very short, the pulse. So using that kind of characteristic, we can do some different research field. We can make it. So this is some result of the picosecond measurement. One is electron transitions. Usually the electron from the 1s state to 5s state to S state to the P state transition is happen in the picosecond range. And that's the photosynthesis, same thing. That's usually that's a microsecond or a nanosecond range. It happen in the photosynthesis. Another one, this is if we pumping the electron from this stage to that stage by using the 400 nanometer laser beam, then the electron jump into that stage and then jumping down in 1 picosecond. And then from this stage to this stage, that's about 600 picosecond. Then we can measure using that picosecond X-ray beam. And also the spin up and down, that's also in the picosecond range. So that kind of phenomenon we can start using the XPL. And here some time scale of the behavior. As you know that a minute or hour, you're driving or something happen, that's usually like a minute or hour. If your eyes is blinking, that's about second or a little bit past than second. So like the animal is moving, animal is usually much quicker than man, but some animal is very slow. But anyway, so atomic diffusion or something didn't happen about 1 second. And if you go to microsecond, then usually this light is a microsecond, right? AC is a fluctuation that is 60 hertz or something. So that's some like a microsecond behavior. And the camera shutter is usually it's a microsecond speed. So even our eyes cannot catch that microsecond phenomenon, but the camera shutter can catch it. And also that some chemical reaction or catalytic reaction is also in the millisecond range. However, usually chemical reaction or catalyst is much quicker. So that's a microsecond or nanosecond scale. That's what I have measured until now. So the chemical is a slow reaction or slow catalytic reaction, each is in the millisecond, but most of the chemical reaction each is a sub-microsecond, so micron or even nanosecond scale each happened. So here is some example of the picosecond behavior. So this is I have done by myself almost like 10 years ago. This material, I am not sure, you cannot see here, right? Maybe this guy. Here, FPPT. FPPT is the very important material for the recording. Recently, we don't use that kind of material very much, but previously we have used that CD and record something there. That recording material is a PPT materials. That's usually that's like the 20 to 30 nanometers. But how to make a record on there? That's using the magnetic property of the material. So this shows that is the outer plane is the outer plane is this behavior. So it shows that very clear the hysteresis behavior. So it makes the recording some information. But in plane is the paramagnetic property. So it cannot recording anything. So when we apply any field, magnetic field on this direction, then if we apply this direction, then the sign is remain in this direction. If we apply the down direction, then it will go down there, something like that. So how we can make that erase or impression or record or impression? That's how we do that. That's technically we apply the laser beam. That's the femtosecond laser we apply inside the material. In any kind of record, same thing. Computer, same. There is laser coming, and then laser melt this material. So suddenly, that very short time, that magnetic property is melted. So getting disordered. Meanwhile, we just apply that magnetic field on there, then make the spin up or spin down. And then we remove the laser beam, then the spin is fixed there. That's how we record the information there, or how we can erase the information, something like that. That's the idea. But problem is once we apply the magnetic field, then usually that magnetic field, once we apply the laser beam, then the heat remain inside the material, and then it spread out. It did not go very, very fast, because we want to record very quickly, like almost like the picosecond the time scale. We want to record again. But the heat cannot release very quickly. That's why we want to put in there AG layers. This AG layer is a metal, good metal, so the heat can pass through the AG as just a heat channel, something like that. That's the idea. So we want to check whether this AG is working well or not. That's the idea. So here, we measured this one using the synchrotron source and also laser here. So left top part, it shows that the setup. So from the synchrotron source, we can get the X-ray, and we had another laser which can come to the sample. So sample and the synchrotron source come to the same spot on the sample, and the laser come to first. Then after that, the synchrotron coming later and measure how that the laser beam affect to the crystal structure, crystalline of that samples. So this is the material. So there is the MGO, this is substrate peak, and this is the AG peak, and this is the FPPT peak. So you can see the FPPT peak is pretty weak, but still there is a peak there. If we expand this part, then this is quite strong enough. So we sit on that diffraction peak, and then we expose it. We send the laser beam to there, laser beam to sample, and then we check whether that sample is melted or not. So right side, this show that time delay. Time delay means the first laser coming, and the X-ray come to later, and they pick up the sample, pick up the signal. So this here, 800 means the laser beam coming is 0, and 8 picosecond later, X-ray come, and then it check that the break peak intensity, that the signal, this signal intensity from here to here. From here, that is the difference between that 0 to the diffraction peak intensity different. 0 means the break peak intensity is strong, and the go up, that means it drop down a lot. So initially, we didn't put in any laser and just measure it, so that the break peak intensity is not change very much. Once we put in the laser, then the break peak intensity drop down. That meaning that's A show that meaning. And the right side, B show that that's a slightly different sample. We put in the AG on there. So A sample case, we didn't put in the AG layer, but in B sample, we put in AG layer, silver layer, and then we measure that. You can see that the A and the B case, first of all, the intensity is quite different. A case, the maximum intensity is about 0.25, but the right side, the maximum intensity is about 0.15 or something like that. It's almost like a 70% drop down. That means immediately, we put in the AG layer, then the heat immediately passed away. It did not stay there very much. But without the AG, still there are some heat remains. So it's the break peak is melted, that meaning. So where the heat go? So we check that the AG peak too. You can see here, this is AG peak. Initially, we didn't put in the laser. AG peak did not change very much. However, once we put in the laser, the AG peak is dropped down a lot. So that means when we put in the laser beam, then the heat come to the AG and it affect to the AG peak. So AG break peak becomes getting down, to reduce, that meaning. So that's why we get the evidence that the heat come from the PPT and go to the AG layers. That's what we got the idea. But most important is here, this the open circle is the measured data, and the red color is the fit with the model. So you can see that is the from 0 to the 100 picosecond for this region. From this region and above this region, different. You can see that is from here to here is very sharp. This is slow. So what they mean of that is from the 0 to 10 picosecond, that time most of the case that we using two different models. From the 0 to 100 second, we're using the electron model, and the 100 to the 1000 range that we're using the Pono models. So that means initially the heat is delivered by the electron. Later on, the most of heat is delivered by the Pono meaning. So electron working in the range is less than 100 picosecond, but later on, most of heat is delivered by the Pono. That's what we found in this study. That's what I showed that this is one of the typical example how we started with the picosecond laser beam, picosecond X-ray. This is an example, okay. And then I'm going to briefly introduce what is XF. So until now, I'm talking about that, what is synchrotron and what can we do with the synchrotron. That's what I showed you all until now. And then from now, I'm going to show you how we can study local structure using the subs. So when the X-ray is coming to the material, then the X-ray is partially absorbing material, and the last part will be passed through the material. So that the transmitted X-ray intensity will be reduced in that formula on the right side. So if we measure the I0, which is the incident X-ray energy, incident X-ray intensity, and then it will be decayed exponentially. The right side, that mu is the X-ray absorption coefficient, and the T is the film thickness. So if we measure the I and I0, then we can get the total absorption coefficient, just bottom the formula. So mu T, we call that total X-ray absorption. If we measure that X-ray absorption as a function of the incident X-ray energy, if we change the incident X-ray energy, then we can get this kind of the curvatures. There are many jump there. So this jump is corresponding to that the energy level of electron, which is bounded in the atoms. This left side, that's the X-ray absorption coefficient measured from the xenon gas. So xenon gas is the inert gas, which does not have any neighboring atoms. It just stays alone. So here the rod jump means that's corresponding to the absorption edge in the right side. So X-ray energy is very low, then the electron which is located in the top layer, like NHS or M layers or 3D or 3P layers, 3P level, that electron can absorb the X-ray and jump into the conduction band, conduction state. However, energy, however, the bottom part of the electron will not absorb the X-ray because of that X-ray is not enough for the electron absorbed and jump into conduction band. However, X-ray energy is getting larger and larger, then the bottom part of the electron also will absorb the X-ray and then jump into the conduction band. So this jump is exactly corresponding to the energy of the ionization energy, which is shown in the right side. Important is every element has a different energy levels. Like even close, like the carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, they all have the different energy levels. One state energy, 2 state energy, 2p state energy, all different. So if we measure this H step, then you can know what kind of element it is. Because all elements have different energy levels. There is nothing just the same energy level at all. So that's the important thing here. Okay, this is the substance. So if we measure the X-ray absorption coefficient as a function of incident X-ray energy, we change the incident energy from the synchrotron source, then we can get this kind of spectrum. But important is here, X subpart, the red color part. Because of the, just before I show you that, I show you that here. This is a xenon gas scale. You don't have any oscillations above the edge here. It's very, very clean, just straight line here. But if any element or atoms in the material, then there is wiggling there. The reason why they're wiggling is that due to that neighboring atoms. That's I'm going to explain a little bit later. Anyway, if we get that signal, then that is due to that the neighboring atoms. From that signal, we can get the local structure property, which is shown in the right side. If any material which is crystallized, like there, and then if we measure that local structure, then just like a circling like that. Because of the certain atom in middle of that, and the other one is around there. So local structure means the right side, that figure, that shows the local structures. So we call this the edge part is we call GENS. GENS is very sensitive to the chemical balance state and also the nearest neighbor atoms. And also from this GENS measurement, we can get the local density state. Many people, many chemistry people interested in the local density state, so you can get the information from the GENS part. And if you want to know that the local structure property, local structure, what atoms there, what is the bonding length, how many atoms there, coordination number, something blah, 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 then you should measure X part. That is a red color part. Okay, so how we can measure that X is here, I showed it here. The synchrotron generate all kinds of the X-ray, the synchrogenerated X-ray, which has all kinds of energy, which is from the UV to the 150 or 200 kiloelectron volt. Then we're using the monochromator to select a certain energy. Then the only certain energy, although the X-ray pulse X-ray emitted at that time, it has a different energy. But once it passes through the monochromator, then it makes only single energy. So single energy coming to the sample. Before the sample, we measure the I0, and then if when the X-ray passes through the sample, then we measure the IT. Then we can get the total X-ray absorption like this. So here, instead XHC is the incident X-ray energy, which we can obtain using that double crystal monochromator. and the y-axis is the absorption coefficient. Here they show that is the mangan KH measurement. So mangan KH absorption HN is about here. 6,550 electron volt. That's about the absorption H of the mangan. That means one state energy level. One state energy level is 6,550 electron volt. So if you give that 6,500 electron volt, then one state the electron will jump into the conduction band. It will come out. So it will come out in the air, or inside the material, or it will come out even here. So if you put in the hand, then it will come to your hand probably. If you put in the here detector, then you can detect the total electrons, that amount of energy. But if you give the energy lower than that, like this energy, then one state the electron will not come out because of the energy not enough for the one state electron jumping into the conduction band. So if the energy is larger than this amount, like above this one, then one state the electron will come out continuously. Here, you can see that here is a small peak here. This we call the pre-H peak. That's corresponding to 3D orbital energy. Because of the, if we energy is slightly low, if this energy, this here energy is ionization energy. So ionization energy slowly lower than ionization energy, then electron cannot jump into the conduction band, but it can jump into the 3D state because the 3D state is slightly lower than the conduction band. So here, this picture corresponding to the 3D orbital energy. So that's how we can figure out what's going on there. So you can see that all of the different acceleration state make the different futures. So if you have any sample and if you measure the chance, then you can easily figure out what is the acceleration state of that material. This is a mangan part. If you measure any Fe, if you want to know what is the Fe, the iron, the acceleration state, then you can go to the Fe absorption energy. Fe absorption energy is about 7 electron volt, 7 kilo electron volt. So if you go to a little further energy, then you can get the Fe absorption coefficient, absorption energy you can meet. Then you can figure out what is the chemical potential, chemical balance state of Fe. If you are interested in copper, then you can move to the copper H. Then you can check that the chemical balance state of the copper ions, which you made, which is in your sample. And the right side is another example of that iron, the arsenic chance part. You can see that there are different oxidation of the arsenic, and which has the different shape of the peak, and also peak position is also different. So if you measure the arsenic, the absorption H, then you are going to figure out what is the chemical balance state of the arsenic there. Okay, and here I'm going to compare what's the difference between the GENS and the XPS, because many people using the XPS to figure out the chemical balance state of the material. GENS is we measure the absorption H as a function of incident X-ray. So X-ray axis is we change the X-ray energy and we measure that absorption H. That's the GENS. That shows the kind of formula. XPS is just like this. XPS is you give the one single energy of atom, one single X-ray, one single energy X-ray. So the X-ray has a single energy. If we put in there, then the electron will be absorbed at the X-ray, and it will be emitted. This is a measurement of the emission. So we call it bonding energy. So bonding energy is here, right? You can get this one. Right side, they show that just before I show the same graph, the view graph. So if we give the any energy, if you put in there, then the electron, which energy level is lower, smaller than the given energy, then it will absorb it and then jump into the conduction band. That means if any electron is jumping into there, like for example, I'm not tall, so if electron here, if it jump into over there, then there will be a hole here. What will happen? Then top of part, another electron will drop down here, and then it will emit it. This is emission line here. That emission you can measure, and then you can get the idea. And this is corresponding to that emission lines. So if you get this formula, and then if you know what is the middle part here, and if you know what this part, and then if you find out the size of that difference, then you can get the idea what is the chemical balance state of the material. That's how you determine that XPS. So you can see that the XPS case, you give that X-ray which has a single energy, but the GENS case, you change the energy and then you measure it. So it's a different story. But you can get quite a similar idea. So some part is the same information, some part is different information. That's what I talk to you here. Another one, GENS is also very comparable to the XES measurement. Somebody maybe have done the XES measurement, X-ray emission spectroscopy. This is the X-ray emission spectroscopy measurement result, and this is a GENS measurement result. You can see that they're quite similar, although not same, but it's just similar. What they mean with XPS is the XPS case, you go to here, fix the energy, and then if you give this energy, then the atom will absorb the X-ray and they emit all of the lines over there, which energy is smaller than this energy. If larger than this energy, it will not absorb it, but the smaller than this one, it will absorb it, and then it emit all of them. That's we got this one. So we put in the energy here and then measure the emission. We go to here and measure again. Another we put in energy here and measure again. Another put in here and measure again. That's this one. Okay. So that's how different between that one and this one. Okay, this is a principle accept. So X-ray coming and blah blah. So last part is the X-ray. So from the X-ray measurement, we can figure out the distance, bonding length, coordination number, and the divider factor, which is including the disorder and the thermal vibrations. Okay, how to analyze this data? We use background, get this signal, create swarm, feeding, and then get this structure. So using the XF, we can study many different things. It's a battery, it's a very important material. So we can institute measurement, the charge and discharge, how that chemical changes, structure changes. Another one, core shell. This is very difficult to study that using the XRD because of it's mostly amorphous or something like that. So, but the XF is very good tool to study it. And the transition nanomaterial, very local structurally, it's a transition. It cannot measure by using the XRD. Still, XF can change it. They can measure it. Environmental science, still you can change. This is another one. In situ measurement, we can study the accretion solution method, how to the crystalline growth, also study measure. This is one of them. We study one step by one step. We fabricate the sample, and then we measure all of them, and we analyze all of them, and finally we find that is the initially here only oxygen here. Secondly, the zinc is show up and it becomes zinc. That's what we found from here. Okay, it's except fitting result, too much distance, coordination number, disorder, blah, blah, we found it. And this we did SEQC simulations, and then finally we got that is initially it's formed in this way, go to that way, and then form this one, and then finally become that. It is not particle measurement we have done. Okay. And this is my conclusion. So I told that the synchrotron X-ray source is very good. It should provide very good opportunity to research the new scientific field. Also, currently, scientific society moved to expel now, and then there is many transition behavior can be studied by using the expel. And the XF is very useful because it can apply to any kind of the material, like liquid, solid, gas, powder, amorphous, crystal, doesn't matter about it. So it can apply for many different science, physics, chemistry, bioscience, biology, nanotechnology, and so on. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Prof. Han, for the very comprehensive description of the facilities and what it can do. I'm sure there are a lot of questions, but due to short of time, I will only allow just 1 or 2 questions. Anyone? 1 or 2 questions. All right. Kita bagi orang muda dulu.
Morning, Prof. Very interesting presentations. So I would to ask, what is the opportunity for us to send sample using these facilities? Because we don't have it in Malaysia. So based on your slide, it will in Taiwan, the nearest, Japan, and of course in Europe. So how can we get the opportunity?
Echo, so I couldn't clearly see what question.
How can Malaysian researcher?
That's a very good question. You can submit a beamtime proposal any place. Just before I show you that there are many sources in the world, and oh my gosh, sources in the world, and you can submit a proposal to there. Then they evaluate it, and if your research field is very important, then they will give you beam time. Then you can go there and measure it. That's it.
Okay, just you can make proposal. Okay, okay. So 1 more question. Okay, Prof.
Yeah.
Okay, in quantum dot core shell, if the core size is about 6 nanometer, can XAFS characterize up to the shell part?
Here.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, sorry. This one, right? Quantum dot.
Yeah.
Core shell.
So they can characterize up to the core shell part, isn't it?
So that doesn't matter. So what's your question there?
It can go up to the core shell part. I mean, since they have 6 nanometers.
6 nanometers. 6 nanometers. What is 6 nanometers?
No,
sorry.
it's not from your slide. It's from my questions. I just asking. From my understanding.
You're talking about this one. This 6 nanometers. What is 6 nanometers?
We have a quantum dot, isn't it? The quantum dots.
Quantum dot, yeah. Yeah.
And they have a core shell inside the quantum dot.
Right, core shell, yeah.
Okay, it's about 6 nanometers.
Okay.
Okay. Can XAFS characterize up to the shell part of this quantum dot?
Okay, the XF measurement is the local structure measurement. So they can measure any atoms or any piece, any space of atoms, but you are not sure whether it's outside or inside. That you are not sure because it's not macroscopic measurement. That only measure the specific, each selected specific types of atom, and then measure around there. So if it's located outside or inside, that point is the same because it actually penetrates all of them.
So what will happen if you have a coated area like in nanowire zinc structure?
Nanomaterial.
Yeah, if you have coated, they have 2 types of material you can pass through.
Yeah. Because this echo problem, so it's very difficult to listen.
Never mind, I will ask you tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
All right, that's a good one.
Okay.
I mean, so since you're short of time, you can ask Prof. Han question during the break. So let's give a round of applause to Professor Han.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, serahkan balik kepada pengurusi majlis. Terima kasih.
This one's not okay. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Dr. Roslan. Thank you, Prof. Han. Now I'd like to invite Prof. Dr. Roslan to give a token of appreciation to Prof. Sangwood Han, our keynote speaker. Thank you, Prof. Ruslan, and thank you, Prof. Han. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our keynote session. You may proceed to the morning break. However, please come back before the plenary session that will start at 11. So perhaps come in 5 minutes before. One more announcement before we depart. We would like to welcome all delegates for our conference dinner tonight. So please respond to the email by 2 p.m. today. Thank you. You may proceed to the morning break and come back before 11. Thank you.